Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator for technology startups in the world. I run it from Silicon Valley, but we are global in every sense of the term. Our team is global, entrepreneurs are global, so you'll see that representation a bit here today as well. When we started, we were mostly in the US and India. So we were already global, but India was the dominating force outside in the United States. But now it's really become much more widespread, and entrepreneurship has become much more widespread. You know, I was doing an analysis yesterday and of where the entrepreneurs are and using LinkedIn. It was fascinating how I found 1.3 million founders all over the world, and it's really distributed. It's happening everywhere right now, so it's great. This is the 648th roundtable. We've been doing this since 2008. 1 million by 1 million started in 2010. So it's been a very long process of working with entrepreneurs, and you know, it's been fascinating to learn what everybody is doing in different parts of the world, and a lot of concept arbitrage is happening. You know, concepts that have been successful elsewhere are being done in different countries, and then related to the country's specifics, there's lots of innovation happening in those countries and those geographies. Based on what the entrepreneurs are learning and seeing, the culture there and so forth. So it's really wonderful. We're going to start today's session with a conversation with Jukka Alanen, managing partner of Rebellion Ventures. Jukka and I met first when he was doing corporate development for PagerDuty, now a public SaaS company. And then I remember Jukka came to see me and discussed that he was starting a venture fund, and we've kept in touch, and I invited him back to discuss what his AI investment thesis is, given that we are basically, the industry is flooded with AI investments right now. So Jukka, welcome. I'm looking forward to our conversation and catching up with you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, Sramana. It's fantastic to be here with you, and congratulations on everything you and 1 million by 1 million has done in terms of inspiring entrepreneurship and guiding founders throughout the world. It's just a fantastic initiative, massive potential to have an impact and really contribute to entrepreneurship worldwide. And what a series of roundtables, 648 thus far. So congratulations. Very excited to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's start there. How are you thinking about AI investing in this time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll talk a bit about our thesis. We're focused on what we call artificial super capability, and I'll talk more about what that means. But I'll give you first an overview of, just a quick overview of our fund. Then I'll talk more about this era of artificial super capability, ASC, that we're building with entrepreneurs. And then I'll talk more about, a little bit about how our fund plays into that.
Okay.
So Rebellion Ventures is a pre-seed and seed VC firm here in Silicon Valley that partners with entrepreneurs to build what we call autonomous operations and AI agents. And our goal is to help entrepreneurs revolutionize business models with what we call 10 to 100x productivity gains and create the era of artificial super capability. Again, I'll talk more about that in a moment. The way we look at this artificial super capability is that we see a shift from passive intelligence-focused AI to action-oriented artificial super capability that can drive business outcomes autonomously. When you think about the real world, it's really the context-specific capability to act that delivers results, not just general intelligence. So when we think about this, we see AI capabilities evolving to be superior to humans in areas such as speed, cost, and accuracy in specific areas. And this shift of moving on one hand to action-oriented capability to deliver results autonomously, and on the other hand, having capabilities in speed, cost, and accuracy that are superior to humans, this shift is what we call artificial super capability, the era of that. And that we believe has the potential to unleash the greatest productivity boost in human history, drive 10x to 100x type of productivity gains, and really transform business models across industries. And we see as part of this that there's a diverse AI workforce emerging across industries. These, this means AI workers, digital humans, autopilots, and autonomous agents. And these AI workers basically will bring superhuman capabilities, and they'll be continuously learning, observing, thinking, and acting 24/7 to practically drive goals and elevate human work as part of that. So we partner with entrepreneurs from this fund to help them build revolutionary new ventures around autonomous operations and AI agents. And we have a goal to help entrepreneurs create at least $100 billion in annual productivity value by 2030. And that's what we're on track to do based on the initial ROI metrics so far. And when the way we assembled this fund to help entrepreneurs is that we pulled together a network of over 70 unicorn founders, operators, and industry experts who are limited partners in the fund. And then they also advisors to our entrepreneurs. So we bring a lot of access to industrial relationships, operating playbooks, and expertise to help entrepreneurs build and scale disruptive startups in this area. And I bring myself, as you know, my background as an operator before Rebellion, helped build 3 VC-backed startups to $3.5 billion in IPO and M&A exits. So for us, it's really bringing the set of operating expertise and industrial relationships to help entrepreneurs build this era of artificial super capability and unleash massive productivity gains and really elevate human work as part of that.
How big is the fund, Jukka?
Yeah, it's a $12.9 billion fund focused on pre-seed and seed.
And what size checks are you writing?
It's in the a few $100,000 per company, typically into the pre-seed or seed. So yeah, it ranges depending a little bit on the company, the stage, and what's needed. But typically a few $100,000, and sometimes we may be the first check into the company, or then we may collaborate with entrepreneurs as part of a bigger pre-seed or seed round.
So if you are doing a pre-seed round in AI, what do you ask to see in terms of what's in the company? What, do you see an MVP? Do you see just a concept? What stage are you investing in?
Yes, this has actually changed a lot over the past, call it 5 years. 5 years ago, AI companies, even at seed stage, they didn't necessarily have a commercially ready product or paying customers. But that has changed a lot over the past 5 years. So these days, even pre-seed startups may have a product, may already be starting to engage with customers, and usually at the seed stage, you're much farther along in terms of already building that product and taking it to market and starting to drive adoption. When we think about what's important with entrepreneurs, number one is the customer problem. Have you identified and really understood deeply what is the compelling customer problem that AI and automation are uniquely positioned to solve? That insight into customer needs, behaviors, and understanding what's broken in the status quo that you can come and really transform and revolutionize. That's really important. Understanding both the customer personas as well as their issues, their inefficiencies in the status quo. Then number two is how can being able to create a value proposition that is really radically better. We call it 10 to 100x better than the status quo, in terms of how you can drive productivity, how you can improve human work, how you can accelerate velocity, or whatever it might be based on the customer needs, in terms of applying AI and automation to really transform those operations. So that's number two, and creating this kind of irresistible value proposition for customers. Number three is then the team itself, and typically we see a great magic happening when you combine both deep domain expertise in terms of you understand why and how the status quo is broken and how it could be transformed into something much better, and then you bring the AI and automation know-how to build a solution that really delivers that. So those three are the most foundational elements that are important for us. Now then, depending on whether it's a pre-seed or seed, you may be in different stages of customer engagement, customer validation, customer traction, and the number of things that we can then start looking at from there. But really the most foundational pieces are, again, understanding the customer problem, deep insights into why and how it's broken. Number two, the irresistible radical value that you bring to transform operations. And number three, the team that has deep insights as well as the know-how to really drive that kind of transformation.
So Jukka, something a little bit detailed, but I want to double click down on an issue. Are you seeing a lot of bootstrapping before they come to seek a pre-seed round? Because if they have to get to a product and customers before a first check, there has to be a significant amount of bootstrapping. So I guess that's my first question. And the related question is, how are they getting to that product? Are they building on top of a platform, an existing platform? So a lot of the stack is already from somebody else, and they're adding the vertical logic on top. How are they managing to bootstrap to that extent where they already have a product and customers?
Yeah, great questions. So in terms of bootstrapping and how you get started, we are seeing indeed that often you get started by and this goes back to how entrepreneurship fundamentally has changed. The old school traditional model where you write an upfront long business plan, and then you try to go get funding based on that long business plan. And then once you have the funding, then you can start bringing people on board, and then you start going out to customers and actually start engaging. That kind of model is not really that kind of model. It just doesn't make sense in today's world, and it's upside down. So typically these entrepreneurs, they have done a number of things before it makes sense to get funding. One is that they've done a lot of work. They bring already insights from their expertise in terms of where the opportunities or problems might be, but they typically have done some work to really understand and validate the customer problems, and they've started building something and the way this has changed a lot. Again, like 5 years ago, when you were building AI companies, you basically had to build most of the stack yourself. So that took a lot of time. It was very expensive. But nowadays, you've got a number of open source components that you can leverage, the number of commercial APIs that you can leverage, and then you can be really more focused on what is your core, what is your unique value add, where are you differentiated, and you can focus on that. So you don't need to build the entire stack yourself. That would not make any sense anymore in today's world. So that helps entrepreneurs get started in a more lean, cost-efficient way and faster. But typically, there's some work they've done before it makes sense to get funding and also assembling the team, at least the kind of the core founding team in place. And so those three key elements in terms of customer insights and some validation even before having a commercially available product. Using ways to be very focused in terms of what exactly do you need to start working on and building to again get more customer validation before and starting to assemble that team before it makes sense to have funding, and then obviously with funding we can start accelerating and building that out in a bigger way.
So let's double click down on some of the companies that you have invested in and tell us a bit of the situation, like at what stage did they come, what did they have already, what did you see that compelled you to invest in those companies, how do you see the potential? So let's do maybe 2 or 3 examples.
Yeah, absolutely. So thus far we have invested in 14 startups out of this fund, all in this area of creating or enabling autonomous operations and AI agents. And they do transform a number of areas. Some of them are focused on engineering, some of them are focused on sales, financial services, insurance, healthcare, and so on. So I'll give a few examples of the kinds of companies. So they are again all related to there's something broken in the status quo in terms of manual inefficient operations that ties up a lot of human work, and then how we can radically automate that. So one company we invested in is called 1Mby1M. And 1Mby1M provides AI agents for knowledge workers in the enterprise to analyze data, gain insights, and automate work. Again, using AI, where you can do that much faster, actually radically faster than what you could do with traditional or manual analytics or classical analytics tools. And also they've really built it for enterprise use cases as things like ChatGPT and so on. They weren't really designed for enterprise data analysis and insights and so on. And I think we were the first fund that invested in them. There were a few angel investors already involved who had started working with them, and then we joined them in this building this company out, and they've raised since then a lot more capital, and valuation has gone up, and they're having some really interesting success with customers. They had already built an MVP type of product by that time, and had assembled at least a good starting point for the team. Another company, this company is still in the stealth mode, so I can't share the name of the company, but they are providing what you could call an AI engineer to manage software reliability, in terms of when you have issues with software, then the AI engineer can at least serve as the first line of defense to try to manage those issues and troubleshoot and try to fix those issues instead of tying up human work on that. And
at what point is that AI engineer inserted? Is that in the corporate IT environment, or is during software development? At what point is this person or this agent being inserted?
Yeah, so that would be when you have digital applications and services. Typically, these types of issues are especially relevant in consumer-facing or other types of applications where you have users for those applications, and then as fixing all kinds of reliability issues can tie up a lot of engineers' time. So if AI can help you manage and respond to these different reliability issues and try to diagnose and troubleshoot and fix those issues, at least as the first line of defense, that can save a lot of time for engineering teams, as many of these engineering teams are today have to spend a lot of time on that, and it takes away from innovation. So that's where it really fits in. So it's really in the production, in the operating environment where it then works on these kinds of issues. And this company, in terms of when you asked about the stage where we invested together with a few angels. And then after we invested, they then later did a larger VC round, a seed round. So we basically invested in the angel and pre-seed stage, and then there was a larger seed round done after that.
Okay. So you want to do another one?
Up to you. I've got, like, again, 14 companies in the current fund already, and we're adding 20 to 25 more. So I've got quite a few companies I'm always excited to talk about, as we really enjoy working with entrepreneurs. But I know we have limited time, so I don't want to spend too much time on going through individual companies.
I'm actually quite interested in what, maybe let's do quickly, maybe a few other companies and just kind of focus on the problems they're solving. We don't need to go into the stages, but let's just get a sample of the problems they're solving.
Sounds good. So another company is called Quandary, and they are focused on providing AI digital workers for insurance companies, specifically insurance brokers and agents, to automate processes.
Yep.
Today, the problem that those insurance brokers and agencies have is that they have to do a lot of manual work to manage processes such as insurance renewals and revisions to policies and so on. So that just takes multiple hours from these agents' jobs, every day, and takes them away from actually building and growing their business.
Mm-hmm.
So they created basically a fleet of AI digital workers that can manage these processes independently and do it 10 times faster than humans would do, and do it 80% cheaper than humans would do. And then it really enables the staff at these insurance brokers and agencies to shift their focus on more value-adding, more strategic, more revenue-generating activities. So that's an interesting in terms of again, a vertically oriented play. Another example I'll give is a company called Activio. They provide AI sales agents that proactively identify new sales opportunities in your ideal customer profile segment in the market, mm-hmm. and then start engaging and reaching out and growing the sales pipeline. And today, it's very hard for many sales teams to be able to, basically everyone wants more new logos and new customers, especially when you're building out new segments. And it's often hard to know which are the best customers to reach out to, and who are actually interested and basically qualified type of prospects that you should engage. So they analyze over 1 billion different data points per day, and then autonomously identify and recommend prospects based on that data, and then can start the sales engagement process as well. So again, like what you can see here is a bit of a pattern, that there are lots of these different things where there's a lot of things that humans have to do today, as in the sales world. Often it would be different SDRs or BDRs having to do a lot of manual reach out and just blast things all over the place, and hoping to get some prospects that would be engaged. So there are opportunities that we see here where AI can do that faster, but AI can also tap into a lot of data and analyze and process that data in ways that would be very hard for humans to do. And then obviously AI can do this 24/7, so you can get some pretty significant productivity gains. And also you can aggregate expertise across a number of basically across a pool of organizations. So you can basically have almost like the best sales expert, or the best in the case of Quandary, the best type of in terms of how you manage these processes. You can really have that expertise codified in the AI agent or in the digital worker.
So, Jukka, are your vertical AI investments, sounds like your strategy is entirely vertical AI, yeah? That's correct.
Not entirely. So we look at, you could think about them in kind of three types of categories. So some are industry specific vertical,
Yeah.
but many of them are still building platforms in that area, but they are then vertically oriented platforms. Some of them are what I would call more functional, like sales or engineering focused
Okay, yeah.
companies. So they're solving problems in those areas and trying to build more of a platform. And then there's a third category of companies, which I would call more specialized platforms that can be more horizontal, more kind of just across industry, and they provide more enabling platforms for use cases. We haven't really focused on just like basic LLMs, as that space is increasingly getting commoditized and very competitive and so on. But there are lots of opportunities for more specialized platforms that entrepreneurs build.
As an example, we've done vertical industry specific problems. We've done functional problems in this discussion so far. Could you discuss a platform company that you have invested in?
Yeah, there are actually quite a few, as many, and it's interesting that many of these companies, they may not start necessarily fully as platform companies, but they start with one beachhead vertical or one other, otherwise a beachhead use case, and then they expand and broaden more into a platform company over time. I'll give you different types of platform companies. So one company is called Ubicept, which is a spin out of the MIT Media Lab, and they have a new type of computer vision technology that can radically provide better quality, especially as today the issue with computer vision in many real world use cases is that if you have fast movement or you have poor lighting conditions, the computer vision doesn't really work well. So that really affects computer vision in real world use cases, especially when you think about in many different verticals like logistics or automotive or transportation and so on. So they have a brand new technology that they pioneered that just radically looks at things at a single photon level and then can create very different level of quality of computer vision. So that's enabling technology that can then be used in a number of different verticals, but it's highly specialized for.
So it augments images that computer vision captures. It augments those images by applying machine learning.
Yeah, so basically what they do is that they are taking in single photon, they are analyzing essentially light at a single level of single photons, and then they use AI and ML to process basically individual photons, and then based on that you can basically have as good imaging and perception and vision as nature allows, because you're really operating at a single photon level that you're then analyzing. And that's a perfect use case for AI, because obviously, as you can imagine, you have a very large number of photons, so you really need AI and ML to be able to analyze and make sense of all of that data. Another example, a very different platform, is a company called Hulu Automation. They provide a platform that they're targeting especially for process automation for small and medium-sized enterprises. They've especially focused recently on financial services and retail, but it works across multiple industries. And they provide, today the issue when you do process automation in many of these companies is that many of the traditional process automation platforms were designed for large enterprise. So they're very complex, very time consuming, require a lot of professional services or expertise and take a long time. So they're not really a good fit necessarily for small and medium-sized companies. So they build a platform, really a new type of platform that enables then, whether you're a bank or you're a retailer, to automate a number of business processes, from loan collections to how do you manage your catalog for retail SKUs, so that's again a very different type of platform, but they are very much thinking of that as a platform, as it enables multiple types of use cases and applications, and multiple verticals. So what I'm seeing in the practice is that there are many different types of platforms, and there are platforms on top of platforms. So there's like a hierarchy or stack of platforms that are emerging in this industry, and many of those platforms use other platforms. So it's really like a collection of different platforms at different abstraction levels,
Yes.
depending on what is needed to add value for customers.
Yeah. You know, what I see is that in all of this, not in the computer vision example that you gave, that is a very, very specific technology problem. But the rest are all domain specific knowledge that is being codified into with AI that can automate really functions, and then you build layers of abstractions on top of that. So whether it's, you know, sales intelligence or retail catalog building or you know, insurance agents and so on, it's basically really understanding the domain and the step-by-step process of the domain enough to be able to apply AI and automation.
I think that's a really important point, because it's very hard as a brand new startup to say that we're going to be a very broad platform that does all things to all people. That doesn't really work when you're a startup. You have to be focused. You have to have your beachhead use cases. You may already have from the get-go a platform vision in terms of how you're architecting the platform, how you think about data, how you think about your ecosystem. It's good to have a vision, but you need to be, on the other hand, very pragmatic in terms of where can you solve customer problems and start getting adoption and building out market traction, as well as get revenue. You need to be very focused and have a beachhead approach there.
Yeah. I'm going to conclude with some general questions about how you see the industry developing. How do you view general AI? I mean, we are in our world, in the world of startups and venture capital, we are really looking at the specific problems, the verticals, the functionals, the domain-specific intelligence, and that's really where we see the capacity to build significant companies, and where there are what we call the tools, right? The picks and shovels of making all that work. Those are the opportunities for building startups currently. And then there are the open AIs who are, you know, flushed with capital, who are building these very large horizontal platforms. That's a different category of investment. But how do you view general AI? Is general AI even relevant?
Yeah. So again, when you think about this very pragmatically from real world perspective, and I'll contrast and compare a little bit to artificial general intelligence, AGI, as you know, there's a lot of excitement around that. And that basically what AGI seeks is essentially to match human level general intelligence. And we have a different point of view. We think that, again, in the real world, it's really the capability to act that delivers business results rather than how much general intelligence you possess. So that's why we put the focus on how can AI bring capability to drive results, not just kind of a level of general intelligence compared to human intelligence that you have. And that capability to drive results and act, typically that's more context and domain specific. So what really matters to perform and drive results in a specific job. And furthermore, in the real world, for AI to do that, you need more than just intelligence. You need capabilities to operate and interface and act in specific environments, in specific contexts.
Yeah, there's workflow, there is API, there is...
absolutely. As a lot of that is workflows and integrations and as opposed to the general level of intelligence. And also, if you look at this from an enterprise customer perspective, if there's AI that just matches humans, you know, that's great, but it'd be even better to have AI that can have superior capabilities, at least in perform specific jobs and tasks in terms of cost, accuracy, speed, because then the economic business case to actually invest in that technology and deploy and make use of that is more compelling than just like generally matching human type of intelligence. So I think this is I think a more pragmatic approach to driving results with AI than just, you know, matching human intelligence in general.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think actually from our perspective, from the perspective of the entrepreneurship ecosystem, artificial general intelligence is almost irrelevant. It's really in the problem-specific intelligence and the problem-specific workflow API, everything in context to that can really drive superior automation. That's really where the opportunity is for startups.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for entrepreneurs to think about as different AI technologies evolve, you can think about that as a toolbox, and the toolbox is getting more capable, more powerful, but you need to think about what problems can you apply the toolbox for and make sure that you've got really significant problems where there's, it's critical for customers to solve those problems, and you can bring radically better approach or radically new type of value for them by applying the toolbox. So I think that's really where there's just a massive amount of opportunities for entrepreneurs. And again, as that toolbox gets better, it just makes entrepreneurs gives even more opportunities for entrepreneurs to solve more and more problems and create more and more value for customers.
Very good. Very good. Great discussion, Jukka. I'm happy to hear that your vision of launching the fund on specifically focused on AI has come true, and since we last talked, and that we have real use cases that we're discussing now. So we'll catch up again in a few months, and good luck.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Romana, for having me here, and it was really fun to discuss this topic with you, and good luck for entrepreneurs who are doing the pitch here. I'll have to drop off for another meeting here, but thank you, everyone, and thanks, Romana, again for having me here.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Folks, we're going to do the entrepreneur pitch session next. This is a safe working session. You can discuss what you need to discuss with me, and I will give you my best advice on how to remove your obstacles and your roadblocks. I'm on your side. I have no other agenda but to, help you move forward. If you disagree, that's fine. It's your venture. You do what you want. Let's start with Emeka from Lagos, Nigeria. Emeka, please unmute your line and tell us what you're doing.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. My name is Emeka Promise from Lagos, Nigeria. So I founded my company is 1Mby1M Technology LLC. Okay, 1Mby1M is a software company that focuses on enterprise applications. Okay, so we started in 2012. So I've been in this business for over a decade now. Mm-hmm. And I've been building and evolving over time. So the first application we've built, which is this InvexRRP. So InvexRRP started as a small business for a small business software to manage sales processes, inventory processes, just a basic small business accounting. So that has evolved. That has evolved into InvexRRP. So what we are doing right now is our software has evolved into a full-blown ERP solution, that's enterprise resource planning solution for different businesses. Now, the disadvantage for us is that we are in in an industry with big players like SAP, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, and all of these kind of guys. Okay, so we have to change our strategy. So the strategy for us now is we are focusing on the African market and also the Middle East market. Okay, where SAP and Oracle seem to be an expensive software to deploy, especially for small and mid-sized businesses. Okay, so that's our focus right now, to focus on the African markets who are not able to to digitize their business with the big players. Okay, so one of the things with
what is the price point at which you are selling this?
Say again.
What is the price point at which you are selling this?
Okay, yeah. For now, we're selling just well. This is a subscription-based application, which is also paid per user, per number of user a business has. Okay, so at this time we're selling for $120 per year per user.
$120 per year per user. And
Yes.
how much, but so other than, I'm sure Oracle SAP are much higher price, but
Yeah.
don't they do differential pricing in Africa?
Okay, yeah, sure. So the thing here is not just about the price from what we're seeing in African markets. It's not just about the price, but deploying SAP or Oracle takes a lot of time, and it requires a lot of expertise to deploy.
Yeah.
In fact, to deploy SAP, for example, for a business of 20 or 20 to 25 users, you are looking at about $70,000 to $75,000, and then you have to hire a service of an SAP consultant, which this is a whole lot for mid-sized businesses. So it might not be so much for Fortune 500 companies like Chevron or Shell. But when you come to a mid-sized business, that's a whole lot. Okay, so that's where we're focusing. So we're focusing on simplicity, not just the price, but getting these companies. Sorry?
Simplicity in deployment.
Exactly. Simplicity in deployment. At least in 2024, deploying an enterprise software shouldn't be something that takes a whole lot from a business. It should be a seamless solution that is very easy to deploy and get started. So that's where we're focusing, not just the price, but the simplicity in deployment. That's also
So
what we're
Emeka,
looking
I
at.
have one other question. All these modules that you list here on the slide, finance, sales and invoicing, CRM, supply chain management, human capital management, payroll, forms and approval, workflows, business analytics, these are all part of that $120 per month per
Okay.
user workflow? I mean,
No.
no.
Okay, the $120 per year is the
Oh, per
base price.
year.
That's the base price.
$120 per year.
Yeah, per year. That's the base price anyway. Okay, so depending, that's the base price. Depending on the kind of business and what model they are looking to implement, so it goes as high. It goes as high as $200 to $250 per user for bigger organizations who want to implement all of these functions. Because most times when companies are deploying an ERP, smaller businesses tend to deploy maybe supply chain and finance. Okay, they don't look at, they're not really interested in maybe human capital management because they are just working with maybe 15 to 20 employees, but when you look at an employee that has 100 to 200 employees, then you'll be seeing the need for, say, human capital management and all of that. So that's,
you add on the modules, but it's still the price is your primary differentiator though. Price and
yes,
simplicity is your primary differentiator.
yes, sure.
Okay.
Okay, so no, back up a little bit, the slide before this one. Okay, yeah, the opportunity. So we're looking at, just as I said before now, we're looking at the African market. If you look at the chart there, African market is just taking a 3% share of the market right now. That's the world market. Okay, Africa is just constituting 3%. Now, the reason for that is that a lot of companies have not digitized yet. They have not automated their process yet because of mostly price and complexity in the digitization process. So that's the reason. That's the reason why you're seeing 3% there. Not really that the market is not there, but the market has not been tapped to increase these to increase these numbers out up there. So that's what we are looking to. We're looking to go into the African market, and then take this on top market and see how we can work with this, work to increase these numbers, in the.
Emeka,
Okay, so
the audio broke off for a moment. So if you
yes,
repeat what you said in the last 1 minute.
Okay, yeah. I said, so the opportunity around the world is enormous, and then the
Yes,
African.
I understand. The Africa opportunity is underserved and underpenetrated. Understand.
Yes. Okay. So then this is so the ERP market is as of 2024. Okay, based on online reports, It's constituting it's a about 53 billion market, billion-dollar
Okay,
market.
I'm gonna just in the interest of time, Emeka, you should do a bottom-up TAM analysis for just your African market of where you see the opportunity and African mid-market, not even the entire ERP market. The entire world's ERP market is completely irrelevant for your purpose. ERP is a very, very crowded business. It's very heavily deployed worldwide. So the opportunity for you is the African small medium business market, and you need to do a bottom-up TAM analysis of that. If you have difficulty understanding bottom-up TAM analysis, you can learn that from 1 million by 1 million, but that is really what is necessary here. The rest is irrelevant.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much for that.
I don't think SAP Oracle are your competition. There are small business ERPs like, Oracle right now owns NetSuite. QuickBooks is the other one. QuickBooks is heavily deployed in the United States, and they have started deploying in India. India has a couple of small business ERP, small mid-sized business ERP products. Those are more your competition. SAP is not your competition. Oracle is not your competition.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Your model is SaaS, right?
Sorry,
License fees? You're charging license fees? Tell me more.
Yes.
Tell me more about the revenue model. So it's not a subscription revenue, you're charging license fees?
Yeah, it's a subscription, it's subscription based, yeah.
So
Sorry, you broke up.
License fees, in the industry terminology, license fees means one-time payment. But what you're charging is recurring revenue, subscription to your product. And then you have all these other things, implementation, training and certification, customization, those are separate, but it's not license fees, it's subscription fees.
Oh, okay, all right. That's taken. We'll make that correction.
Company, Emeka? How many people
Sorry?
do you have? How many people do you have in the company?
Okay, we have about 25 people right now.
And how many customers do you have?
Right now we have just roughly about 1,000 customers.
And how much are you generating revenue-wise?
Yeah, right now we are just about $450,000 in revenue.
That's very good. So how does that split between subscription revenue and all these other three kinds of revenues, implementation, customization, training?
Okay, so right now most of our revenue is generated from subscription. Okay, subscription and customization generally, because ERP are mostly heavy on customization because different business domains have different needs and all of that. So customization plays a very big role in ERP deployment. So we make a whole lot of revenue from subscription first, then customization, and then training.
What is the average customization revenue from a customer?
Yeah, well, from a customer, you look at about $3,000 to $4,000 for customization.
All right, got it. So there's a big services component to your business.
Yes.
Good, very good. All right. So that's your revenue number.
Yes, that's our revenue numbers, and those are some of our key notable customers up there.
Very good. Now, what brings you here? What do you need help with?
Okay, so Emeka invited me to this program. So right now I've been bootstrapping, by the way. I've been bootstrapping from, from inception. We've been bootstrapping this business, and we haven't raised any outside investment yet. But right now, with the whole AI automation, which we're working on right now, and also expanding into other African markets and all of that. So we are at the point of raising a $5 million investment round. So right now I'm looking to work with people who can help me achieve this goal of raising a $5 million round of investment. So that's what I'm looking for right now. Someone who has the experience in funding in VC markets and all of that, and then people who can just help us achieve this.
I can definitely help you with that. I would like you to go to our website and carefully read what I say about investment. So Maureen, could you give him the investor introduction link in the public chat? Maureen will give you, Emeka, a link, and I want you to read that. You're very welcome to join the program, and I will help you put one foot before the other, because there is an issue with bootstrap companies, because you have been kind of building this company organically and slowly. But the minute you bring in venture capitalists, they're going to want you to go from where you are, this $450,000 in revenue, to $100 million in revenue in 5 to 7 years. So you have to now show velocity. And if you cannot show velocity in the story you tell, because your past does not show velocity. Your past shows organic growth, which is great. It's wonderful that you built a business and you have 1,000 customers. It's fantastic. But VCs are looking for high velocity companies. And for you to, as a bootstrap company, to convince VCs that you can become a high velocity company is going to require some work. I'm very happy to help you with that. You're very welcome to join the 1M1M program, and I will work with you and advise you on how to do that. But that is a requirement. That is what we would be working on. If you decide that you want to work with 1M, you have to be mentally prepared to work on that first before I introduce you to investors.
All right, thank you very much. I will be very glad to work with you. So I'm going to look at the link and follow it up from there.
Perfect, excellent. All right, let's go to the next presentation. This is Kekeli Yaw Dorkenoo from Ghana. Kekeli, please unmute your line and tell us. Wow, this is an all Africa session. Very cool. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Wish you had superpowers. You have superpowers. You have to unveil the superpowers within you.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I am Kekeli Yaw Dorkenoo from Accra, Ghana, in West Africa, a country just like Emeka. Okay, so I founded Keldo Global Innovations to basically solve some of the pressing some of the pressing problems in Ghana through digital softwares and basically innovations. Now, the business that I want to discuss today is our e-health project, and the target customers is for patients with chronic conditions. So in terms of beachhead, we are looking at starting with persons living with HIV, and then gradually upon traction, we can include patients with non-communicable diseases. Now, in terms of pain points, one thing that I realized patients with chronic conditions face in Ghana are issues with inaccessibility, inadherence due to the complex nature of our work schedules and the prescriptions, and then lastly, stigmatization in terms of the specific illnesses that they get infected with. Next slide, please. So in terms of acquiring customers, because of stigmatization issues in Ghana, we are looking at acquiring customers through impersonal channels. So instead of going directly on TV or directly to patients, we just need to get close to medical doctor associations, hospitals, HIV support groups, sexual health NGOs, in order to maintain an impersonal customer acquisition system. And in terms of the software developing, our specific users, like I mentioned, include HIV patients, people with non-communicable diseases, and HIV comes with opportunistic infections such as tuberculosis, hepatitis, herpes, and hepatitis C. So these are the key users of our software. Next slide, please. Yes, so now the point is what brings me here. So first of all, I would like your guidance on one question, which is in such a complex industry such as health tech, how do I preserve my unique selling points? Because some of the problem I face is immediately you come up with a unique selling point, be it virtual nursing, AI powered side effect management, you realize that a competitor has already implemented this unique selling point. So it's very difficult to be unique in the health industry in Ghana. Secondly, I've been facing a lot of challenges accessing grants in Africa because it has always been difficult due to the regulations. And I find it difficult to mitigate this. You go to a patient context, it's like more attention is given to agriculture and other SDGs as compared to quality health in Ghana. Thank you.
So I don't think you should think about this in terms of unique selling points. The first thing you should think about is what is the value proposition? What is the unique value proposition, not the unique selling point?
Okay.
Who is the customer? You know, patients with all these diseases, what are you selling to them? What are they going to use your product for? To do what? What problem are you solving for them? Can you explain
Okay.
to me?
Could you go to the second slide? Yeah, so the second one. Yes, so like I mentioned, with respect to inaccessibility, I'm looking at us offering last mile drug delivery services to the patient so that they need not transport all the way to hospitals to acquire their medications, because in Africa, Ghana, it costs a lot to transport yourself to hospital. So through delivery services, they can receive their drugs remotely from home. Secondly, those who are having issues remembering to take their drugs, due to the nature of their work schedules, certain alarms, and so on and so forth, through this app, once the prescription are keyed into the app is going to set personalized reminders so that they don't need to always try to set alarms on their own whatsoever. And then lastly, with respect to stigmatization, I'm trying to come up with a point that, okay, if we help these patients to adhere to treatment and they do not have certain symptoms, or excuse me to use the word, they become untargetable, that curbs the issue of stigmatization. That's using treatment for destigmatization. That's the three key things I'm trying to offer.
So, but the primary value proposition that is monetizable is the drug delivery. Yes, people will pay you for the drug delivery.
Exactly, yeah.
And who will pay you? Is it the customer who will be paying you, or the vendors of medications who will be paying you?
No, it would be the customers. I capped it at $3, which is very affordable in Ghana.
Okay, so you want HIV patients to use your service to order their drugs and get it delivered to their homes in wherever they are in Ghana. That's the business.
That's one leg of the business. And then secondly, help them to adhere to treatment, adherence.
Understood, but they're not paying for that. Those are fees.
Not for the adherence, yeah.
Not for the adherence, not for this destigmatization. They're not paying for any of that. They're paying for the delivery service. So are there other vendors, other competitors who are delivering drugs to these consumers?
Yes, but they are not they are not focused on a particular, you get me, group of individuals. They offer drug delivery services to all forms of customers, but the problem with HIV treatment in Ghana is that the medications are free. So because the medications are free, they receive these drugs on a monthly basis. And so far, there is no company that does it on a monthly basis for them.
Oh, so they don't deliver on a monthly basis?
Not at all. They do it as and when the customers request, which is not quite good because it is not inclusive.
So you want to set up a monthly subscription delivery base thing for delivery service for these customers. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, well, this is an execution. It is not a unique selling point kind of business. This is going to be an execution business.
Okay.
Because setting up a delivery service that spans a large physical area is not easy. It is, you
Yeah.
need people, you need systems to manage all that. So this is an execution game. This is not an innovation game. So
Okay.
so then the question comes. It sounds like the question that you are asking is, how do you finance this business?
Yes. Yeah.
So we are not experts in grants. We are experts in how to build businesses. And typically, businesses at your stage have to bootstrap. Just like you just heard Emeka's business, it has been bootstrapped until they're doing $450,000 in revenues. So it takes time, but that's kind of the path that you're going to have to follow. We have a lot of curriculum. Kekeli, we have a lot of curriculum in the program that you can start learning with if you want, on how to bootstrap, what to do, etc. And you're also welcome to work with me if you decide to join the premium program. We have, if you want to just access the curriculum, you can join basic, 1M1M basic, and you can just start using the curriculum. If you want to talk to me and get mentoring on a regular basis, then join premium and I will coach you through the process. So here are the resources. 1M1M.com is where you'll find everything. The premium program is our full acceleration program. You can go to the website and study what to expect from the premium program. We get requests for one-on-one consulting. I don't think you need that right now. These free roundtables happen every week. 1M1M Basic is where you get the curriculum. So any of those resources, just spend some time on the website, learn what we offer and see how you want to use the services. And we are very happy to work with you and help you put one foot before the other.
Sure.
You're
Thank
going
you.
to business at the moment will have to be bootstrapped.
Sure.
So we can teach you how to do that and everything, but you're going to have to bootstrap your way.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll go to the website and do as you said.
All right. So folks, anybody who has questions about the 1M1M program, Irina is your contact. Her email is irina@1M1M.com. All right, I can take more questions. Anybody who has more questions, whether it's Emeka or Kekeli or anybody else in the room. I know Sunil Kumar Singh, you are in the room and you've been sending me lots of messages on LinkedIn. So why don't you unmute your line and let's talk through what you're doing in Bihar and Patna, and I can give you a little bit of feedback on what you're trying to do. Sunil, unmute your line, please.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. How are you?
Yes, I am fine. I used to see your in, chats and all those things. I am really impressed with your methodology of teachings and training programs. This is very good and this is a life-changing program, I think.
Yes,
We are in.
it's a life-changing program. We have changed a lot of lives, and the reason I want you to go, if you're trying to bring up the Bihar, Jharkhand ecosystem, entrepreneurship ecosystem, if you can just get everybody who's trying to be an entrepreneur to follow our methodology and study using our methodology, we can help them tremendously. We can bring them to very, very high levels of entrepreneurship.
Because we are too late. Actually, we need 4 or 5 years before, na? That will be all बहुत फायदा. Everything is very good right now. And this is the right time. There is, the good government is doing very good here in startups. So there is a huge potential and all startups.
How many startups are there in Bihar, Jharkhand right now?
In Bihar, we lead 225 startups. That is controlled by the government of Bihar. And there is one incubation center is BHub, Business Hub. And in Jharkhand, no, there is only 20 startups.
Okay.
I am from there.
We're talking, 250 companies. Are you
Yes.
connected to the entrepreneurs of these 250
Yes.
companies? It's not a big number. Are you connected to all of them?
Actually, I am first time I am working as a, project manager of Nitish Kumar ji, as a Chief Minister of Bihar for last 10 years.
Okay.
And one of the my software, I developed the software for Janta Darbar for the CM for last 2010, and it got a gold e-governance award from the central government.
Very good. Excellent.
And apart this, I am playing a very key role in government decision making and policy making. So
Okay.
that in Bihar, na, I am the key founder in the startup Bihar, and it's a very good progress. And right now, 200 startups in Bihar, but day by day, every month, na, 20-25 startups continuously adds, and
So do
each
you
and
have
every.
hang on, Sunil, do you have a list? Do you have
Yes,
the
I have.
list?
I have list. I have list, and actually the best thing is that government is paying 10 say 20 lakhs rupees as a seed funding for every startups without
Okay.
interest for 20 years.
Okay.
And this is the policy in government for as a seed funding. They provide the trainings, everything, all IIMs, IITs, incubation centers, and I have list and I have all startups are under my supervision. I am taking care of those challenges, everything from my side. So
So
this is the
why don't you start bringing those startups to the roundtables, and if you want to share that list with us, we can also put them into our system so that they can start receiving communication from our system just like you do.
sure, ma'am. Actually, I did. I sent 2 or 3 follows details, but at a time we can jointly, because we have one center in B Hub, and all 2,200 startups are sitting there. Because
Okay.
government is already make a very big high standard center. It's not only in India, it's look like the Silicon Valleys in
So do
Patna.
you want the other possibility you can explore is that you can, if the government is spending that much money on these startups, you can put all these startups or some number of these startups into our premium program, and then they can all be part of the the 1M premium program, and they can all get incubated in 1M.
For that reason, for that's I think we have already discussed with the government departments who is taking care, like Secretary, Department of Industry. So if our program in valid by the government of Bihar, they will
Yeah.
charge directly to the company. The no needs for to saying sending to giving from the any customer, any students or any startup founders. Government will pay because government is sending a huge amount, they will cut the charges and pay directly to the one-to-one. If we have
Okay.
some agreement like that, governments.
Okay, so listen, there I'm going to put something in the public chat. It's our incubator in a box program. Please take a look at that. And there is a specific one, incubator in a box for governments.
Okay.
Okay, so if you just set up, a co-branded incubator, which sounds like you've already got B Hub, and if you just implement 1 million by 1 million incubator in a box in B Hub and put 200 companies into the 1M program, the premium program, we're done. We can start, coaching and developing all these startups right away.
And request, ma'am, actually, in USA, the charges and India charges both are different. So if slightly the charges for, premium for, especially for a huge number of these peoples will slightly less, that will be easy for initial level.
But
Otherwise,
$1,000 for 1 year of coaching, Sunil, is absolutely rock bottom.
okay.
$1,000 for 1 year. Are you kidding me?
And
For
that's
1
okay.
year,
That's okay for initial stage, initial bootstrap stage, slightly because in 20 lakhs rupees.
we can't provide the service at lower than that. It's a very, very
Ah,
hands-on service, right? People, it's like if you
I
want,
know, I know, ma'am. It's a very, the price is very comfortable price. No
it's a
issue for
very
that.
profitable price. It has been designed for democratizing entrepreneurship education, incubation, and acceleration. So, I mean, it's really absolutely rock bottom price.
But if I think the government will take the charges to pay
Yeah.
such amount, that will be easy for the this innovators and
Exactly.
startups.
So for the government, if you're putting in 200 companies and $1,000 per company, you just do $200,000 in one go, one shot. It's very simple, and then you manage the enrollments. You kind of bring people in. You know, you have 200 slots, and you just bring them in. We will work out the logistics of bringing people in. That will work fine.
That will be easily done. One thing, ma'am, actually we organize some meetings, mentors meetings on one every week, and we have. And if you once you give one session for those 200 startups, then
Yeah.
it's easy.
Yeah, so once you decide that you want to do this, with the
Mhm.
government decides that you want to do this, we can do one session during at your mentor hub, a virtual session where I can address your 200 people and explain to them how to work. I mean, don't worry, we have this whole process of online roundtable. So we will do a custom one for your session where you will have that I will address them. So it's all doable. All that is doable. All part of the workflow of how we work.
That will be done, ma'am. Only needs na. I am in a government body na, so I need the process. I know the how the process executions. Only need that once we in panel na 1-2M with the government side. This is the nodal agency for a mentorship. When we need some application, expression of interest like that, when we give to the government, and we whatever the services and projects we will provide those innovators and those startups. So this will also government also look na ki their startups will rise, growth their application, growth their height, because the government na paying a 5 modes payments. Initially they pay starting in 10 to 20 lakh in a both initial track one. After that they pay 25 lakhs, and after that three phase 50 lakhs rupees. So there is a three tranches. Tranche
For
one, tranche
the
two, tranche
startups,
three.
if they do well, they can get more funding from the government.
So the as per your charges, na, that will be best for those startup too and government too. The government will utilize those amount which invested in the startups if they rise after getting training from 1-1.
That's great.
So
So we can definitely help Bihar come up in. I mean, this is completely up our alley. It's something we can do very
ma'am,
easily.
I need some I support from your side. Only some technical and some documentation that is need for initially for to start this with the government side. Some
Well,
documentation like that you want.
send me an email with what you need, and we will work with you and figure out how to make this happen. Here,
It's
I
my pleasure, ma'am. It's my pleasure. Actually, I am looking in like same time of things because I have everything is here, but only needs na we need some mentors. That's a last four
guidance.
sessions.
Absolutely, you need guidance. The startups need guidance. The government can
As
provide funds, but the startups need expertise. I understand. So we have
one line,
completely
one
set up.
sentence, one sentence. I just see some read blinds teaches blinds.
Exactly.
Right now, the current scenario is there.
That's exactly right. Unfortunately, the blind teaches the blind. So my email is in the public chat, romana@1mby1m.com, and you're also connected with me on LinkedIn. So go ahead and send me what you need by way of documentation, etc. We will work with you to make sure we fulfill those, and then we can just work, or you can do one fund transfer from the government directly to us,
Yes.
and then we can set up the process of how to start bringing the each of the entrepreneurs in, and we will do the session with a mentoring session that is addressing all 200 at once. We can do all of that. All of that is doable.
Because every month there is adding 30 startup 40 startups every month. They
Okay.
take place 10 every month. The number of started gradually increased. 30 startup every month they took and they funded. So
Yeah.
that we in near future, the more than 1,000 and above that. So this is a good opportunity because Bihar, government of Bihar, they needs some solution, some entrepreneurs like some mentor like person who will really teach them and provide the real guidance.
Yeah,
Because
we
there
have
is
all
no.
that. And the most important thing actually in all this, in bringing large numbers of startups up to speed, is having a curriculum that they can learn from, right? So you will see that once you start having these startups follow the curriculum, they will learn very rapidly.
Yes, yes, ma'am. True, ma'am.
Yeah.
So this
Okay.
is-
Great. We're looking forward to it, Sunil. I'm very much looking forward to bringing Bihar up. You know, by the way, my grandfather,
Okay.
do you know this place called Mihijam in Jharkhand?
Which now? Please pardon
Mihijam.
me.
Mihijam.
Mini jam. Mini jam.
Yeah. Do you know this place?
Mini jam is some
It's
place.
near Chittaranjan. It's right next to Chittaranjan.
Chittaranjan. It's a Dhanbad. Dhanbad something like that.
It's in
Chittaranjan.
that direction, but Chittaranjan Locomotive Works is a very big factory.
Yes.
But Mihijam is a small place near Chittaranjan where my grandfather built a house. We are from Calcutta, but he built a house in Mihijam. So I just visited. He had this beautiful rose garden. I just visited in February after a long time.
It's a simultaneous roadways, na? One line from Asansol.
That's right.
Code line is that.
Yes.
Code line is that. Asansol and some. Ma'am, in Calcutta, from which location you are from?
I grew up on Elgin Road.
Algin Road. Okay. I stay there, Calcutta, and I study there in Salt Lake.
Okay.
And that time I was staying in Paddu Lansdowne, is Netaji Subhash Chandra station,
All
metro
right.
station.
Okay.
So
Great.
my cousin, my sister, everything, we were residing there.
Very
And
good. So you know
I
Calcutta.
used to.
So just a second, let me answer Dolly's question. Dolly Isaac has a question. I'm reading your 1 second, Dolly. Let me just read your message. Do you accept pre-MVP bootstrap startups into the premium program? I'm looking to build my strategy for pre-seed investment. Curious if I'm a good candidate for your programs. Yes, absolutely, Dolly. In fact, you know, at some level, the earlier the better, because then you don't make all the obvious mistakes and we don't have to make you unlearn all that. So yes, you're very welcome to come to the premium program. How did you find out about 1M, Dolly? And where are you joining from? You can't unmute. Oh, Maureen, can you put her on the panel, please? So she can unmute. There we go.
Hi, Pramana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Oh,
Right.
fantastic. Sorry, let me see if I can do video too. Oh, maybe. Yeah, so how did I find out? Honestly, I went on LinkedIn and literally just looked for pre-seed accelerators and pre-seed startup VCs.
Okay.
And you popped up in a list. I was looking for someone that is somewhat it's unconventional.
Yeah.
And because every pre-seed accelerator or investor seems to have some methodology, and if you don't fit into their their package of whatever in a prescription, then you just kind of you're not really accepted. So I was looking for something that was a little unconventional, and I came across your program. So I was like, oh, this is interesting, and that's when I joined. That's why I joined the roundtable.
You're very welcome to join pre-seed, no problem. Pre-seed, pre-MVP, all of that is fine.
Okay, so companies at my stage it's not too early to join, and
No, in fact, we say that do not write a line of code until you have figured out what is the business that you're building and validate that assumption. So we will teach you a lot about validation and how to go about making those choices and decisions on positioning, on what is the target customer, etc., validating your idea, all of that. So if you want to learn all that early before you invest in MVP, this is the perfect time to join.
So I'm actually too late for not putting hand to keyboard. We've already started building.
Okay.
We should have an MVP in shortly. However, you know, I find myself up against a lot of very well-founded competition, well-funded, competition. So, and I think what you said, your VC earlier had a good point that you cannot follow, you know, the ways of, you know, getting your investment and building it. You've got to get to a certain point before you can actually get traction, especially if you are going after enterprises. So I'm finding myself kind of at that crossroads of my MVP is sellable. It can create revenue, but it's not going to get me to that, you know, get me to that velocity that I really want.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're very welcome. Where are you located?
I live in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So
Yeah.
you're time zone wise also in a very compatible time zone. Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Anybody else? Any other questions, comments? Okay, I don't see any other hand up. I will see you all next week. And oh, Emotu, do you have a question? Maureen, could you put Emotu on the panel so he can ask his question? Emotu, unmute your line, please.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Yes, so I wanted to ask, my question is regarding to the subscription fee of $1,000. So I was thinking, because I'll be bringing more entrepreneurs. So I was thinking, if for those who don't want to, who are not yet to pay the subscription for $1,000, can they do the monthly version?
You can do 1M1M basic and start using the curriculum that is monthly, that is $99 a month, but it doesn't include mentoring.
Oh, okay. Thank
So
you. That's my
if you want to start there, it's actually perfectly fine. If you have a large number of entrepreneurs who want to just start with the curriculum and start with the monthly, it's okay. It's not a problem.
okay.
You get a little bit further and then you start the premium program where you actually access the mentoring. That will work fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I think I've taken all the questions that I see hands up for. So I will see you next week and keep making lots of progress and make lots of actual metric-driven progress so that you can, you know, either become profitable companies, sustainable companies, or get to your next funding milestone, whichever way you're going, make real progress on a day-by-day basis. And that's how we make real progress in a long time span. For me, I always kind of, at the end of the day, I make a mental, you know, I write journals. So I make a mental kind of calibration of, have I made progress today? And if the answer is yes, I feel like, okay, you know, if I make progress for 365 days every day, I will make progress eventually. So that's just a little philosophy here. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for coming.